Dozens killed today in Kabul. 2 bomb attacks at the airport targeted people trying to flee the country. Among the dead, 12 U.S. military personnel. Today's attack shows the country is descending into further chaos as the U.S. and allies prepare to end evacuation efforts. The UN and NGOs are warning of a looming humanitarian catastrophe, and one of the top concerns, access to food. We spoke with Andrew Patterson, the World Food Programme's Deputy County Director in Afghanistan, before the number of fatalities were confirmed. Andrew, your job of getting food to the people just got a whole lot more complicated because of these bombings and explosions. Describe for me just how difficult this makes your job.
Well, WFP brings all of our food in by road, so the events you're seeing at the airport don't impact our food supply lines at all. But what it does do is create a security situation which makes us pause, because we don't want to send our people out into harm's way if this kind of a security incident is going to take place. That complicates it. We can't get our teams out to assess the needs of people inside Kabul. Outside of Kabul, it's a different situation. It's calm in the rest of the country compared to that, and we've been able to restart our operations. The supply lines, as I said, are open. The major border crossings that we use into this country are open, and we're able to bring our trucks in for now.
And Andrew, can you describe the level of need based on your assessment at this point?
We'd already assessed that 14 million people in Afghanistan were food insecure, and then a drought, the second in 3 years, hit this year, and that put our estimates up to 20 million total for the year. And we estimate that by the time we get to November, we'll be needing to feed 9 million people in this country. There are also the internally displaced people. We know everywhere we operate that conflict is the #1 driver of food insecurity, and that makes people leave their homes because they're unsafe. So there's a growing number of internally displaced people, a huge number of which came to Kabul because of the fighting in the surrounding provinces throughout Afghanistan. So we estimate, or OCHA estimates, 550,000 internally displaced people. A lot of those are in Kabul.
So if conflict, as you say, is the #1 driver of food insecurity, and we're certainly seeing the evidence of a conflict right now, and there's really no way to anticipate how much worse it could get, is there any way to anticipate just how, as if it isn't difficult enough already, just how much more difficult it's going to become?
Well, for us, it becomes a security problem if we don't know whether we'll be able to reach those people. Afghanistan will soon be in the grip of winter, which means supply lines will close by road. So we need to get food into our warehouses now so that will be closer to where it's going to be needed. We need our $200 million funding at the moment to make that happen and get the food in now before the supply lines close. And I would like to highlight that Canada, which is our third largest country supporting the operations in Afghanistan for WFP, has announced an extra $50 million funding today for Afghanistan generally. We're not sure how much of that will come to the World Food Programme, but it's very important that we do get that money.
And on the security front, where can you look to for some kind of assistance, assurance, some kind of confidence that you can do the work that you clearly need to do that is desperately needed?
Well, Kathleen, WFP has been in Afghanistan since 1963. We've worked through the Russian period, the Mujahideen that followed them, the last time the Taliban were in power, the post-Taliban period, and now we're back there again. And it's the same in many countries in conflict areas where WFP operates. We have to negotiate access to the people. We have to have our people on the ground and talking with the players that are there and making sure that they understand that we're neutral, we're independent, we operate on humanitarian grounds. We don't take sides. We're not on the Taliban side, we're not on the opposition side. We're there for the people of Afghanistan, the people in need.
So, Andrew, when you say you have to negotiate access and talk to the players, and you mentioned the Taliban and that you're neutral in this, presumably then that negotiation will happen with the Taliban.
Indeed, it does. It happens whichever players are on the ground. And we have been negotiating with local Taliban in different areas of Afghanistan over the last couple of years. We have excellent people. Our heads of offices are dealing with whoever the local players are as they change. It's just WFP business on a day-to-day basis.
This is just how it rolls. It's incredible to think about it. And do you have some confidence then? I mean, given that you have negotiated with the Taliban in an ongoing way, off and on, is it your opinion that that access is something you can be reasonably sure of when it comes to getting food to people who need it?
Well, without that access, we just don't reach the people. And these are the ordinary people who get affected. They're already marginalized in this country: women, girls, the disabled, sometimes ethnic minorities in a particular area. We've got to get to all of them. And we distribute based on our assessment of need, not the Taliban's assessment of what's needed or a government or any other player. We do it independently. That's the way we have to operate, in line with humanitarian principles.
Andrew, there's been a lot of conversation and a lot of debate and back and forth about the extent to which the West should have anticipated that this was coming, and that the signs were all there and the Taliban was gaining strength, and this would be the inevitable result with the August 31st deadline that the U.S. set some time ago. What about you? What about your organization? Did you expect what we're witnessing right now?
Well, WFP is a humanitarian organization. We're here to make sure that we get food to the hungry poor and those that need it. So we do that in whatever the situation is. As far as security goes, we want to be able to do that unimpeded and in a neutral and independent way. And so we do have to negotiate access. So we do that whatever the situation has been. And as I mentioned before, we've been doing it in Afghanistan since 1963.
But I guess my point is, you know Afghanistan well. Did you see this coming? And when did you see it coming?
Well, the Taliban have taken over various parts of Afghanistan over the last couple of years. So we've had to negotiate access in those areas. I think most of the international community and the humanitarian community was caught by surprise with the speed with which this change has taken place. But none of that makes any difference to the number, except increasing it, of those that are food insecure. As I said, we were already estimating 14 million. Now we're up to 20 million with a drought, and we've got internally displaced people. And so we're doing all our planning based on what we consider that need to be.
Important work and very difficult work ahead, and so glad you could take the time to describe what it is that you're facing, and of course the people of Afghanistan are facing. Andrew Patterson, thanks very much.
Thanks, Kathleen, and again, our thanks to the people of Canada and the government for the support they give to the World Food Programme.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.